Hello everyone, this is my first educational video which I am going to upload in YouTube. Here I am dealing with chapter ecosystems from higher secondary second year courses which deals with these subtopics. Number 1, ecosystem, structure and function, productivity of an ecosystem, decomposition, energy flow, ecological pyramids, ecological succession, nutrient cycling, and ecosystem services. This will be a series of videos, and I am today uploading the first video. And I have separated these chapters into different halves, so I am now going to upload the first half today. Now in this picture, which I have downloaded from the internet only, we can see different types of ecosystems. Here, right from the tropical rainforest to the desert to the mountain and tundra, etc. are shown in these pictures. All these ecosystems actually are part of the biome. So according to the geographical location, according to the position where it is situated on the globe, the ecosystems will behave differently because of the latitude, longitude, that means the geographical factors. Now, before going to describe about ecosystem, we should know what we mean by a system. A system means something which acts in coordination. Actually, all the parts of a system will work in a coordinated manner and ultimately it will function. As for example, here I have shown that a system is all the organs that work together for digestion. That is why it is known as our digestive system. Therefore, ecosystem can be defined as a system that includes all living organisms, that means the biotic factors, in an area as well as its physical environment, that means the abiotic factors, functioning together as a unit. The term ecosystem was coined by A.Z. Tansley in 1935. Another contributor of ecological studies is Oda. He defined ecosystem as any unit that includes all of the organisms, which means the community, in a given area interacting with the physical environment so that a flow of energy leads to clearly defined trophic structure, biotic diversity, and material cycles. Within the system is an ecological system or ecosystem. That means the living organisms or the biotic factors, which will include all the plants, all the animals, and the microorganisms. All these biotic factors will interact with the abiotic factors for their survival within an ecosystem. As for example, we can say that the green plants, which are known as the producer, which I am going to explain later on. The green plants will produce the food, then the animals or directly the herbivores will act as consumer by surviving upon the green plants. They will collect their food from the green plants, and then the flow of energy will be there from the first level of consumers to the second level, and from the second level to the third level. And ultimately, when plants as well as the organisms will die, then they will be decomposed. Their complex organic materials will be simplified and they will again mix up with the soil, which will fertilize the soil, and again plants can grow in that soil. That means they will interact, the abiotic factors and the biotic factors will interact amongst themselves. So there are different types of ecosystem. First one is the natural ecosystem, that means which exists naturally without any anthropogenic influences, and the second one is the artificial or the man-made environment. Man-made ecosystem. Man-made ecosystem actually man-made ecosystem examples are the paddy fields, the tea gardens, etc., where men or the humans go on planting, but these will be of their choice. And natural ecosystem can be classified into two types. They are terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem will include forest, grassland, and desert ecosystem. And aquatic ecosystem will include freshwater, that means rivers, lakes, pond, etc. Freshwater ecosystem, and next one is the marine ecosystem. Marine ecosystem includes seas, oceans, etc. Freshwater ecosystem may be of running kinds, which are known as lotic, that means the rivers, the springs, the waterfalls, etc. And they may be lentic, that means steady type of ecosystems, which will include the ponds, the lakes, beels, etc. Now, about the structure and function of ecosystem. As I have mentioned earlier, the structure of ecosystem will comprise of two types of components, which are the biotic components and the abiotic components. Biotic components will include autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs means which can produce their own food. That means the plants. They will produce their own food by the process of carbohydrate. They will produce their own food by the way of photosynthesis, and they will produce carbohydrate. And for photosynthesis, they will need sunlight, water, carbon dioxide. And another one is the heterotrophs. Heterotrophs are of again three types. They are the primary consumers, that means those animals which will directly depend upon the plants for their food. That means they will use the plants as their source of energy. That means the herbivores. Then the secondary consumers. Secondary consumers will directly depend upon the primary consumers for their food. That means the first level of carnivores. And the tertiary consumers, which will again depend upon the secondary consumers or maybe on the primary consumers for their food or for gathering of their energy. Then abiotic components, which are the non-living components, will include temperature, light, air, soil, humidity, precipitation, topography, pH level, and minerals. And here it should be noted that abiotic components may vary with the variation of the latitude or longitude. That means the geographical location of any ecosystem. Because with the change in the latitude and longitude of any ecosystem, the position of the sun will change, and that is why the precipitation frequency will change, then humidity will change, and it will also depend upon the topography, that means the type of the soil. And like that, these are the structure of an ecosystem. The next point is the function of an ecosystem. Function of an ecosystem is of four types. They are the productivity of an ecosystem, the composition which occurs in an ecosystem, the energy flow in an ecosystem, and the nutrient cycle. In this video, I will wind up here, and in the next video, I will upload about the function of the ecosystem. Thank you for your present here.